able to accomplish it much easier. The other side of it is obviously when the clients come through the door, building with realtors and clients, their relationships, which Connie's going to talk about real quick.
You know, that's just one way that, another way that we can reach those clients is through other realtors. And our realtor friends are valuable in what they bring to the table. We help them by attending the realtor sales meetings, take in our, you know, our treats and give our, you know, we just talk to them about new home or inspired homes, not new home star, but inspired homes, and help them with their luncheons. We do broker tours, and another one is customer satisfaction. We want to make sure that our customers are satisfied. And referrals, we look, that's kind of a really great way is referral, through our referral system.
We see it as that we have two clients. We have the buyer that comes in the home that wants to buy an inspired home, and we have the broker who's representing the buyer to buy the home. And we believe that if we can sell both sides of that, we have a better chance of closing the deal. If we can get the realtors in the community excited and knowledgeable about the inspired homes, then they in turn, and we've seen this happen already with the Crazy Parson Girls and and Jack Boyd, and they have actually gone through the process, understood the value of inspired home, and brought repeat clients in to put contracts on the home. So we believe, two different clients that we want to target and that we do target. Traffic for the reserve, October was 43 units, November 28, December thus far is 8 traffic units. Our target consumer group that we've seen in the reserve has been an older demographic, mainly some retirees, people that are looking to downsize. 70% of our traffic is people that are looking for ranch homes. These are informed decision makers. These are people who have bought a home previously and or built a home. In fact, many of these people have gone through the build process at least twice with 2 different builders. We've had 5 sales in reserve in this past quarter.
Jim, why is that in terms of the older buyer? I mean, because Pulte had set it up so they had really, similar to Kensington Farms, they had the ranches and then the 2 stories and so forth. And we've had previous builders in there where all products seem to sell at the same speed. Why are you getting, especially with the schools and the Mendy Center, why are you getting a lot of retirees or empty nesters, especially that far out of the metro? You think
I think the reason is because there are so few ranch homes available, and that area that Inspired has the ability to offer a ranch home is driving that traffic there. There's a huge demand in that specific area for ranch homes, and there's very few on the market today. And if you look at the reverse story and a half, I don't even think they're competitive with Inspired, but they're at about $145, $146 a square foot. If you take an Inspired home and you build out the basement, 1,000 square foot in the basement, we're at $104, between $104 and $107 a square foot. So Inspired can actually offer a better product with a built-out basement at a lower price per square foot than they can get into with what they're looking at with these reverse story and a halves, which are basically ranches on a walkout lot.
Does that include lot or without?
Includes lot. Includes lot.
I think it's probably valuable to note the 5 that we have sold. So you've got the Lambs and the Woodwards, who both fit into that demographic, and then you've got the Tennysons and the Meningers, who are younger, first timers. Yeah, who are younger. One's a Provenance, one's a Ballantine.
And then we have the Rays.
We have the Rays
that
also.
have the Opus.
And I don't know what their demographic is.
Family,
young
children,
family.
just moved from Colorado.
So I think what we're seeing traffic-wise, some of that is based on, and sorry to jump in here, some of that is based on the marketing that we've done in terms of marketing the ranches in the reserve, like in similar articles, traffic that's coming in. I think it is of note that the 5 that we sold is kind of split down the middle. And so,
which is interesting, and I'm sure it will be a conversation, but if 70% of the traffic is ranch buyers and 30% is not ranch buyers, yet 3 out of our 5 sales are not ranch buyers, which group are we converting at a higher percentage?
Good point.
Yep.
Well, one of the reasons I asked too is just, I'm thinking of, we got 60 lots still, but based on absorptions we want to hit, we're going to beat through those pretty quick. so we've got that second phase out there, so
Mhm.
how
do you plat it?
yeah, what's the makeup, how do we break it down for?
And Corey, I think we're gonna have a much better handle on this, the more data points we get, so I think that after we get through this
Spring.
next quarter, through the spring, I think, we should look at this again and find out, because that, maybe the demographic, the people coming through might shift a little bit. So I'm actually real excited to see what happens, coming spring, because I mean, we may have a bunch of single family people with kids come through and it may completely flip flop over the other way.
But I think Jim's point is exactly right in terms of availability of floor plan. That's why we're getting so much ranch traffic. That may not be converting all those to sales, but the reason so many people are coming through articulating that is because of the lack of product that's available out there.
Why is there is it too expensive
Yeah.
to build, and so?
Yeah, it is. People are choosing the active adult communities versus just straight up
Straight
ranches, and I think that's a deal. And you'll see with our newest price increase is that we kind of we were offering some pretty smoking deals on some ranches that
That's
we
true.
were not able
That
to
is
Yes,
true.
afford.
absolutely.
And so some of that
That
may
drove traffic.
come a little bit back down to earth now that we've
Yeah.
realigned our pricing.
I think that target consumer group as well, it takes so long for them to pull the trigger because that's
Yeah.
a lot of them, it's their last stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the last stop they're gonna buy before they really downsize to a 1-bedroom assisted living home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, from being over there before in the reserve with Coleman, I can just tell you, that was 90% of the people that we sold to. They had some serious physical problems that necessitated them making a move from a 2-story or another home into a ranch.
And what a lot of them do too is they rent for a year. That's kind of their plan. And while they're renting for a year, they look for a new home to build. And so they're locked into this 1-year contract or however long. And so it's they're looking a year out. They're looking long term.
They're liquid, they have great reserves, credit income is no problem. Some of them can even, purchase that home without even having their other home sold. So
I think one other thing, Corey, is during the boom, the real estate boom, there was a lot of single-family homes being built. And then when it came down and we had the crash, not as many people could afford to buy a home at that point. Banks weren't loaning to people. And then you got the baby boomers, 10,000 people every single day are turning age 60 from now until for the next 15 years. So you have this huge, massive demographic of older people, and you have a shortage of ranch homes. So I think there's a lot of different dynamics that have actually driving people at this point in time to look at ranch homes in the reserve.
Does that allow for a premium on your home, or is it still capped at their purchasing power?
Well, I think it's a purchasing power, but I also think it's there are people out there that are doing the premium, which is the active adult community. So the reason ours is interesting is because we're not doing that, because we're in a place in the market that people aren't doing. So there's plenty of folks that are taking a premium at a $400,000 ranch because they're converting folks down. Ours is the folks that don't want to get caught up in that, and they're saying, hey, I don't need maintenance free. Like my lot's 50 feet wide. Like I can mow the lawn. It's going to take 5 minutes. So I don't need to pay a $100,000 premium for maintenance free.
I've had one client of mine that came through looking for a maintenance-free community. The rest of the folks are just what Dan said. These guys actually want to mow their yard. They want the exercise. They want to be out. They want to feel like they're still productive. So we had one guy. The only reason the one guy wanted the maintenance-free is because he actually lived 6 months out of the year somewhere else.
where I'm at, that's one of the first questions I get, is it maintenance provided? But then they don't care when you say it's not.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you concerned about this?
Well,
It's a non-issue.
I think the reason is because right by the reserve, and this may not pertain to you, but by the reserve there is a maintenance provided community. They're paying like how much per month? $150 a month or $200 a month, and we got people that are coming over at us saying we got to get the heck out of this.
Which community is that?
It's right there. It's part of the reserve.
The
It's
Is it the Enclave?
Villas.
The Enclave,
The
those
Enclave.
townhomes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Then they're trying to get out of it because of the monthly fees are killing them. They just want
Well,
to get out.
and the reason why, if you see the plat, it's the Grand Villas, and then
Right.
there's even that old sign out there that we're
Yeah.
gonna knock down. That was the plan for those lots too. At one point, those were gonna be a maintenance provided piece out there, and that didn't work.
You're knocking down the sign off 7?
The sign off of, was it Gleason?
The one up Gleason, yeah. What about that big ass one on 7?
Oh, yeah, there is one facing
Just say
right.
There is one.
Yeah.
I wondered what that was
Yeah.
pointing to, because it said maintenance provided community, but I didn't know where that was.
Yeah, it's right. It's to the north of the community.
It's right by that open field.
It's
Yeah,
on
that's
our
already-
property.
West
it's
of where
not-
you guys are
I mean,
at.
If it's for the Grand Villas,
Can you take a picture of it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Connie,
Connie,
is Ron gonna knock that one down?
Yeah.
that one on Gleason.
Next trip
Yeah, I
out there,
didn't even know that was
Yeah.
there until a week ago.
Okay, one of the communities
Hey,
that we
just
saw,
for 1 second, Connie, I'm taping this, so you may want to move that way.
or Smile, one of the two.
Just so you know.
Thank you.
I thought you'd be self-conscious
It'll
if you were
help
in
me
the,
anyway.
the entire. Okay, go ahead.
Canyon Creek Highlands is one of the communities that Connie and I looked at as a competitive market for the reserve. They're at 329 to 439.
Mhm. So what we found that they do well is they have a busy community with multiple builders. They have about 8 builders in there. Lots of specs, so they have ready to buy homes and move in quick. They have lakes and trails, excellent amenities. They have on their website, I think our website's better. I think we do that better. The only difference is that interactive plat map. I think that's rocking. I mean, it lets them know walk out, view out. I think it's very,
Is
very
that
good to have that.
builder, what's the?
It's
that does those?
I actually know one of the guys that coded that. It's a really neat piece of software, and it shows the entire subdivision with every lot on there, and it has dots on each one, so you can see what's available.
Mhm.
You can see what's sold, and they're all different colors, and then you can see like if there's spec homes available, and when you hover over it, it tells you the price of the lot
Mhm.
or the price of the home, and then it'll say 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
Or you
Yeah.
pulls in the MLS?
Yes.
Or a picture of the home.
Yeah, it's
We
it's-
have-
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll be, if there is a home, there'll
Guys,
be a picture of it.
Sales Simplicity allows us to do that, so we'll have that up in
Cool.
a month or so.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
it's
excited
just
for
it's
that.
just we're just pointing out that it's a neat
Yeah,
tool.
yeah, and so it's
Yeah.
tied to the lot information that we have in there, because we load the lots in Sales Simplicity,
Yeah.
and then you code a plat map based on what's in Sales Simplicity, and you put it up. So you take the PDF, you code each one of them, and then it's tied back to exactly, so you change the price in Sales Simplicity, it changes on the plat map.
It's gonna be awesome.
So we have the ability to do that. I just learned about it last week. But
Yeah, and that'll be great because I think that does
Yeah.
generate leads. 90% of all people go to the internet first. We all know that,
Mhm.
and so they can get out there and search and hover and do these things. So I think that's great.
Mhm. Yeah, so, and landscaping, they had a lot of extra landscaping in their common areas that we thought were really nice. Price mobility is huge in this subdivision. They're actually Canyon Creek, but there are like 3 different levels to Canyon Creek. So we saw that as a positive for them, that they could actually keep their kids in the same school area, district, and then they could move from, area to area, still move up in price and home. So we found that to be positive. What we do better,
That's still in that range of 329, that's within that range? or
they
is it-
go up from, okay, so the Highlands is the one that we see as our closest competitor in price. You'll move up to each one and you'll move up in price. I think they go up to like 700, and you can probably even do some extra stuff inside that 700 to go up even more. So, but anyway, what we do better, we have an awesome price per square foot, even with our price hikes. I mean, we're just so much better. We build a 2012 code, and not every builder does that, and we rock because of that. Their disadvantages, they have minimal ranch homes. I know you saw in the picture that reverse story and a half. They actually, it's a reverse, so they finish out the basement, and like Jim was saying earlier, with that $28,000 basement add-on finish, we're still priced $104 per square foot. So we don't really think that if they're going for price, we got them.
On the reserve, so, sorry to keep interrupting,
That's
but
okay.
what is our range when you're marketing? If they're saying 329 to 439, what's our?
We are up to 240 up to about 360 now. So
The active new home listings in this subdivision
So
are
let me jump back to
Sorry.
that, because it's something you guys should probably know that we've done as well. There's pretty much $100,000 spread in all of our communities. So from low to high, you're always going to get from the lowest ranch to the highest is a $100,000 spread. So it's just where the starting point is, and always goes up plus 100 for the biggest house in that community. So that's a nice data point for everybody
Yeah.
that I haven't laid out there.
in this subdivision. There's 10 active new home listings. Average sales price around $383,000. About 2,900 square foot is average. $137 price per square foot is average. The sold and or pending new home listings in the last 90 days in this subdivision are 9, with an average sales price of around $418, around 2,900 square foot, $143 per square foot, which is less than 1 sold per agent per month. Another subdivision that we compare ourselves to that we believe is a competitor is Brampton West. Price range of $278,000 to $342,000. These are 2 and 3 car garage homes, 4 bedroom, 2.5 and 3.5 baths, between 2,300 and 3,000 square foot. Some of the standard features they include are similar to what Inspired does at granite countertops, distressed hand scrape, hardwood flooring, tile master bath, iron spindles, porches, bedroom, level laundry rooms, and the jetted master bathtubs.
So what we found with Brampton West, what they do well is, again, they have just several spec homes. They have 10, actually, I think it might even be a few more than 10 right now. Their website, so they have 2 different websites. They have a builder website, and then they also have a Brampton West website, which ours, by hands down, on both of those, ours is much better. But what we liked about theirs was their interactive plat map.
And their customer testimonial video.
And they, on their builder website, they have a customer testimonial, which was
And their builder
really
is pre, or is it?
Yes,
It's a horrible website.
It's a horrible website.
It's a horrible
it's really,
website.
and even I like Greg, but even the video of him on there is
Yeah.
not a good testimony for
we
builders.
could do a rocket. But anyway, they're interactive again, and our interactive plat map was on the builder website, not on the Brampton West website. So this subdivision is also nearly completed. They are ready to move on as well. It is really close to Lake Lenexa walking trails. I mean, it's just kind of right around the corner. You could bike over there and hike, or, you know, so we thought that was cool for this subdivision. Most models are built true to price, so when you go in the home, usually what you see is what you get for that price.
And let me further expand. If it's a standard base price, basically what they have homes where there are few upgrades, maybe no upgrades and maybe few upgrades. So that's what that means.
We actually do a lot more better than this subdivision, other than just these 2, but again, better price per square foot. We built a 2012 code. We just see that as a really strong component of what we do.
And it has been a huge selling point with I'd say virtually every single person who's come through come through for me, and even when I was at Kensington Farms. It's the Inspired build and the way they do it is a huge selling point.
A few other things that I kind of wanted to just touch on that we do better. We have better marketing. There are flyers. We have packaging for our flyers. I mean, I think that we do a good job in so many more places, but anyway.
Including being on site, because the times we went out there was no one there.
There was no one there that we could get information, so that was a strong
And that was
thing.
multiple times, different hours, different days.
So their disadvantages is that they do have few lots left and no more to sell there. They had these, can you go back to that picture and show him? See those power lines behind that house? Okay, so they go along the whole side of the street. I mean, behind all of those homes on that street. So we saw that as a huge disadvantage to those homes as well.
In this community, there's 14 active new home listings, average sales price around $319 square foot, $2,400, $125 per square foot average. In the last 90 days, sold and or pending new homes have been 4. Average sales price $310, 2,400 square foot, $127 per square foot average, which represents less than 1 sold per agent per month.
How are you getting that number of agents?
We know how many agents are on site.
On site?
Yep.
On those 14 homes, is there an average listing day? I mean,
We can get that for you. Yeah.
Yeah, we found that.
Well, here's one that might help. Corey might help answer.
Yeah.
This is zip code 66227, which is the reserve zip code, and you can see that like that 5th bullet point, 51 days on market, and this is resale though.
Yeah.
Is what we're seeing as an average. But these are resale, not new homes. So there's 11 active. 348 again is this average sales price, around 3,500 square foot. Sales price, with resale, we expected a lower price per square foot average. This is 110. And then you see your days on market there. The resale listings sold and or pending in the last 90 days, this is surprising to me, was 9. I thought it would be higher. Average sales price 320, square foot 3,000, and again, we did expect to see a lower price per square foot. This is around 106.
And ADM, actual days on market, and CDM, cumulative days, is deceiving because it depends on when the agent's putting that in MLS. So it's hard to differentiate between those two, I'm finding.
Move on to Kensington Farms. We tackled this where I did the 2 stories and Justin handled the ranches. So you'll see 2 communities for each, specializing in those. In general, the client traffic, we saw that the average buyer for the 2 stories were young couples, usually with kids, dogs, looking for the open spaces, which Kensington Farms is perfect for. There was also 2 interesting demographics that I've seen. Like Jim said, see if it continues. One was the single wives, divorced. We've seen with Angela King, we saw with Kathy Nation and Linda White, who have all been interested in those low level ranches, the Spencer. We also have seen the Moons and the Riddells in Kensington Farms, which are already living in Kensington Farms, upgrade to an inspired home. And for ranches, we just see a typical client. You want to explain real quick?
There's not another slide here. It's baby boomers, downsizers, retirees. As we discussed before, taking a little bit more time to make their mind up, a little bit more deliberate in their purchasing. Once they do, though, that's it. They've committed. So we get very few looky-loos. And when you get a be back 2 and 3 times, high probability that they're looking at your homes seriously. Versus, let's say, the parade of homes traffic in early 30s, late 20s. They may have visited 20 places that day, but if you see them again, like yesterday, I had to be back from Parade of Homes. That's promising traffic.
Are those buyers coming from the area, meaning like they've
Great
always
question.
lived in
Yeah, so I think we'll cover that a little bit later.
Are we attracting people from the metro because you can only get inspired in so many places?
So some of them are coming from just to a property adjacent from me, and I'm going to get to that in Fountains of Raintree. But some of them were already in the neighborhood. They're in too big of a ranch, and just too much square footage. They don't need it, and so they want to stay local because they're used to being there. They don't want to leave the neighborhood necessarily, but they want something a little smaller. So
I think one interesting data point is the single or divorced ladies that were looking at the Spencer Ranch. We've had 3 of those. The other data point is the Moons and the Riddells, who actually live in Kensington Farms. They're looking to stay in Kensington Farms and move up. So we're going to plan marketing initiatives around those 2, where we're going to actually do door hangers in Kensington Farms to see if there's other people that live there that want to continue to stay there. And then as far as targeting the single divorced women, we're going to send Kyle and Justin to the singles bars to see if they can.
I was just reining it in.
Well,
I was thinking, when Kyle mentioned single lady, I'm like, I stole one idea from Dan. So Dan has the Inspired website on Facebook. The only reason why I rejoined Facebook is because I had to for Dan. so I took that idea and then I opened up a Kensington Farms community. After we do the door hangers, we're going to invite everyone to join that and then attend the HOA meetings, and that's going to be a great way of keeping up on the community and hopefully getting some repeat business. When they're loyal to the community like that.
So you're talking about
it's going to be a closed group like what we
closed
have.
Group, yeah.
So I
That's a
used
good
your
idea.
idea, and I thought that's what I'm going to go ahead and
And not
They
only-
do that at New Longview, where we're going to be putting on lots, and it's really made that community have a grassroots.
We do that in my condo building.
Yeah.
We're all part of that, and it's like,
Yeah.
who has an
Yeah.
electrician that they
Yeah.
use, or I've
And
got this light fixture that I need fixed. What can we do with it? It's a way to bring the
when you got
community
locked out
together.
of your condo, you said.
Yeah.
Someone helped you. Yeah, and I think probably some of the problems too in Kensington is that a lot of the people I'm finding, they don't even know when the HOA meetings are,
Yeah.
because there's a few people that have kind of hijacked that
Well, we got
HOA
one now in
process and they don't
January.
know when it's going to happen. So we
Right.
need to get
I
with
know.
APD and just say, hey,
It'll be a great way to, everyone who lives there obviously wants to see it do well and become populated, and so, hopefully we'll get in there and, you know, they'll invite friends and families to come. You know, if we, you know, have a presence there with Inspired Homes, they'll be able to refer friends and family and expand that way.
Well, let me peel the onion back one more layer. Sorry to use a terrible metaphor, but like, the Riddells and Tennysons live in the community, right? So that's level one. They want to stay in the community. The second level with the Riddells and the Tennysons is they're both tradespeople, right? One's a structural engineer, one's an HVAC guy. And so they're able to see the value of the build of the home. So we haven't necessarily, the Bedines we were a little bit, but the quality of behind the walls meant more to them than it does to most people. And so that's something to think about. Have we cracked the common person yet or not? The other with, I think that it's common with all those, including kind of this single niche, is in a common thread in all those is the school district doesn't necessarily matter, right? Is that if they do have a child, the child is necessarily cohabitated somewhere else, or the child has dual custody, so they're not dedicated to the Raymore Peculiar Schools. Folks that are already living in Kensington have already made the decision that they're committed to the school. So I think we still haven't. We still need to continue to think of the school district as an objective, a challenge, something that we have to deal with, that we haven't necessarily cracked the mainstream on that yet, to say folks are coming over here. So I think that's good and bad. I mean, we're marketing the people that we like. We get people moving up in the community. That's all good stuff. But just like, why are these people buying earlier than other folks? One, they appreciate the build process. So, you know, you got a structural engineer and HVAC guy. Two, the schools don't matter necessarily to those folks. So the value of the home, is even greater to them because they don't necessarily have to switch schools for their kids. So those are other factors in terms of the buying process. The reason the early adopters seem to be going there versus kind of mainstream folks, which is fine. I mean, somebody's got to move in first, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of what do we have to work on next.
Max, can you get those dates? Because I know a few have been set for 2015.
I haven't seen them yet, but I can certainly
for
get them.
Really, there's 3 communities, so Kensington Reserve and probably Whispering Pine. Obviously, Humford doesn't have any HOA meetings yet. But give that out to everybody, so plan accordingly, because I think it's important. I think
Max, I have a flyer for you before I leave too on the
we
HOA.
will, maybe
Okay.
this summer with the attempts at Kensington.
Yeah.
So, I don't
You're
think.
doing a good job.
Part of the problem is when there's HOA flyers, but there's no email that are given to the people, there's no phone numbers, so there's no way of contacting it, and finding out when those meetings are. You mentioned grassroots, I think that's important. I think when my mom pays $210 a month for her HOA, and people are so disillusioned with the HOA that they've just stopped becoming involved in the community, and they forget that their vote counts. They can make a lot of changes, so hopefully Kyle and I can connect them with Facebook. I don't know what kind of challenge that's going to be. Some older people
We'll see.
getting on Facebook, but whatever.
They seem to
We'll
like
see.
it more than younger kids now. So,
Yeah.
So first community I wanted to talk about was Creekmore. I feel like this was one of our biggest competitors. They're as far as new home construction, they're a little bit higher price point. But as far as their community and their appearance, I thought they competed. Even though they're at a little bit higher price point, their amenities are so strong that they're definitely worth taking a look at. Some of the things they do well. They had a finished and staged basement, which was great. Their signage, they had an abundance of signage. It was everywhere. But at the same time, what we do better is ours are more accurate. I found when I went in there, I've been in there multiple times, it's confusing to get there. Their model is at the very back of the community. And so you have to go through the whole thing, especially for new people. They can get lost, it takes a while, which, in order to take them through the best process, most favorable thought process, you don't want people, frustrated when they walk through your door. Some of their amenities I was talking about, there's an 18-hole golf course right there, the elementary school, which we send our family's kids, is right in the community, and they also have a large product range. So anyone who's looking to improve, to upgrade, product range as in price. They have a large price range.
What is the golf course?
What?
What's the golf course? Is
It's-
Creekmore a golf course?
Yeah.
It's not the name of
It
the
is?
golf
Yeah.
course. It's the.
I don't know if it's 9 or 18, but
It's
it's
18.
18.
It's a championship golf course.
Okay.
We have a handout.
Yeah, you can,
We
I'll
can
take a
give it
check
to
it
you.
out in a minute. Also, what we do better